I'm Stephen Bartlett, the host of the Diary of a CEO podcast. The following PodFast is a summary of my conversation with financial expert Ramit Sethi, who talks about how to live a rich life and make smart financial decisions. Becoming wealthy doesn't require being a genius, but rather understanding a few key principles. He debunks common myths about money and challenges the notion that owning a house is always a good investment. Ramit explains that many people who struggle with money think their problems would disappear if they earned more. However, he shares statistics that show even those with high incomes can still live paycheck to paycheck. Instead, he encourages listeners to focus on their spending habits and prioritize their financial goals. To start, Ramit suggests tracking 4 key numbers: fixed costs, savings, investments, and guilt-free spending. By understanding and managing these numbers, individuals can gain insight into their spending habits and align their financial goals with their lifestyle preferences. He also emphasizes the importance of defining one's rich life. Rather than using generic phrases like freedom or flexibility, he encourages people to get specific about what they want. This level of clarity allows individuals to craft a rich life that is uniquely theirs and align their spending accordingly. Ramit discusses the impact of buying things to impress others versus buying things that bring personal fulfillment. He challenges the notion that ownership is always superior and urges listeners to consider their financial decisions based on their individual circumstances. Let's imagine your feelings as a roller coaster ride. You expected to feel a certain way, but when the ride started, you felt differently. This unexpected feeling is an opportunity for you to examine your beliefs and perceptions. Now let's talk about money. Imagine it as a personal zero-sum game, like a game of poker. Just like in poker, you can't keep spending money indefinitely. Buying a ridiculous house in the countryside might take away from something that could have actually brought you closer to happiness, like spending quality time with your family. So let's delve into the popular narrative of buying property, which most people consider the ultimate goal when they earn a decent amount of money. This narrative is deeply ingrained in our society, especially in America, where the American dream is often associated with owning a single-family home with a white picket fence. But where did this narrative come from? Decades of messaging and what some might call propaganda have shaped this belief. However, we need to look at the reality behind buying a house. Many people think buying a house is a great investment because they've heard stories like, Granny bought a house in Austin, Texas for $100,000 in 1970 and just sold it for $1 million 50 years later, making a profit of $900,000. But hold on a second. Did Granny factor in the costs of maintenance over those 50 years? Did she consider inflation and how it affected her overall return? Did she think about the opportunity costs of using that down payment to invest in something like the S&P 500? And what about the interest on the loan? It's not as simple as subtracting a bigger number from a smaller number. To make sense of the biggest purchase of your life, you need to dig deeper and consider all these factors. Buying a house may not always be the best financial decision, just like taking an unexpected turn on a roller coaster ride may not always leave you thrilled. It's important to question popular narratives and evaluate the real-world costs and benefits of our decisions. Ramit discusses the pros and cons of renting versus owning a house and emphasizes the importance of running the numbers when making the decision. He explains that while owning a house can be a good investment for rental income, it may not always be the best financial decision. Ramit uses metaphors to make the concepts more relatable, such as comparing the cost of owning a house to renting an expensive jacket. He also explains the concept of a target date fund for beginner investors, which is a single fund that automatically diversifies your investments based on the year you plan to retire. He emphasizes the importance of low-cost investing and not constantly checking your investments, comparing it to letting a turkey cook for decades without fiddling with it. Ramit explains the importance of investing in stocks and how it can lead to wealth accumulation over time. They emphasize that it doesn't require being rich to start investing, but rather it is a means to become rich. Investing is like brushing teeth. Just like brushing teeth is a habit, investing can also be automated so that money is regularly put into an investment fund without conscious effort. They also liken investing to a savings account, stating that just like you don't draw money from a savings account, you shouldn't draw money from an investment account. He advises setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to a savings account and then to an investment account. He also suggests having separate sub-savings accounts for different goals. By automating these transfers, you don't have to constantly think about them. To prove the effectiveness of investing in funds over a long period of time, Ramit mentions research that shows the average returns of the stock market to be around 10–11% per year in the US. He also encourages listeners to use an investment calculator to see how money can grow over time with a 7% return. He calculates the potential growth of a $5,000 annual investment over different time periods and interest rates, showing that even modest contributions can lead to significant wealth accumulation. He also highlights the success of investors like Warren Buffett, who became wealthy by starting early and consistently investing over many years. Ramit advises listeners to start investing early, increase their income, and keep their investment costs low. We debunk the myth that only rich people can invest and emphasize that anyone can build wealth with the right mindset and strategies. Ramit provides specific advice for different professions, such as increasing rates, finding new clients, and offering additional services to maximize income. We encourage individuals to focus on maximizing returns per hour and considering opportunities in different markets. Ramit talks about the importance of recognizing the value of one's skill set and placing it in the most lucrative market where it is scarce. We use examples of how moving to a different industry or market can significantly increase one's income, like a graphic designer moving from designing nightclub flyers to designing luxury brands. We emphasize the need to think in terms of discontinuous jumps rather than small incremental increases, and to consider time as a vital factor in investing and making financial decisions. Ramit touches on topics such as cryptocurrency investing and the dangers of being attracted to high returns without considering the risks involved. We also mention the importance of understanding one's own feelings about money and making moves that align with personal goals and desires. Ramit shares 10 money rules, including having an emergency fund, saving and investing a percentage of income, and not questioning spending on books, appetizers, health, or supporting charity fundraisers. He emphasizes the importance of buying quality items and keeping them for a long time, comparing it to having a reliable car or a timeless wardrobe. He also prioritizes spending on health and education, recognizing that investing in these areas is crucial for a successful life. Ramit encourages earning enough to only work with people they respect and like, highlighting the impact of surrounding oneself with positive influences. He also reminds us to prioritize time outside of spreadsheets and numbers, and instead focus on living a rich life filled with meaningful experiences and connections. Overall, these money rules serve as a guide for a more intentional and fulfilling financial journey. Choosing the right partner in marriage is not only important for emotional compatibility, but also for financial compatibility. Your choice of partner will affect where you live, your daily expenses, your financial goals, and more. Talking about money with your partner is crucial, and there are natural moments in a relationship to have these conversations, such as when you take a trip together or when you get engaged or married. Unfortunately, many couples only talk about money when something goes wrong, leading to resentment and misunderstandings. It's important to reframe the way we talk about money and have proactive conversations regularly. In a relationship, it's important to discuss financial matters early and proactively. This includes discussing your financial situations, your values around money, and even considering a prenuptial agreement if necessary. If your partner reacts negatively to a prenup, it's essential to have an open conversation about trust and values. It's not about not trusting your partner, but rather about protecting both parties and clarifying expectations in case of separation. Seeking professional help, such as a therapist, can also be beneficial in resolving conflicts and understanding each other's perspectives. Gender and socioeconomic class also play a role in how people relate to money. Generally, men tend to be more aggressive with investing, while women may lean towards more conservative approaches. Understanding these differences can help bridge the gap in financial discussions. Additionally, our upbringing and the messages we receive from our parents influence our financial behavior. Recognizing these influences can help us better understand our own behavior and that of our partners. It's important to approach these discussions with empathy, curiosity, and an understanding that money represents more than just numbers. By having proactive conversations and understanding each other's perspectives, couples can build a solid foundation for their financial future. We talk about various character traits and philosophies that are common among successful, rich individuals. He explains how these individuals are not only good at one thing, but they excel in multiple domains by transferring their skills and being socially skilled. He also highlights 3 character traits of individuals who are unlikely to live their rich life, including being surrounded by negative influences, making impulsive decisions without a long-term perspective, and lacking a personal vision of their rich life. It's important to practice self-reflection and designing one's rich life with intentionality. Many people feel ashamed, nervous, and scarce about money, but through exercises and self-awareness, they can change their relationship with money and dream bigger. Ramit's book, I Will Teach You to Be Rich, is a practical resource for anyone looking to learn about personal finance and overcome financial challenges. Overall, my conversation with Ramit emphasizes the importance of financial literacy, self-awareness, and intentional decision-making when it comes to achieving a rich life. It encourages listeners to educate themselves about money, challenge societal misconceptions, and take control of their financial future to ultimately have the freedom of choice in all aspects of their lives. I'm Stephen Bartlett of Diary of a CEO, and I'd like to thank you for listening to this PodFast summary of my conversation with Ramit Sethi, the money expert. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. See you next time.